Welcome. I wanted to do a top 50 episode on the players from woba2. I've done this last couple of years. I'll make it in video format this year because it's fun to talk about. And last couple of years, I always did it in tiers, kind of chunks of 10, like tier S and A, B, C, D. But this year, for fun, I'm going to actually do 1 to 50. It reminded me a little bit of what Baseball America and some of those things do. I think Foolish Billy, my guy, does some of it too. So it's always fun. So I'm going to go down from 50 to number 1 and just kind of talk a little bit and show them on the screen of why each guy's where. I'll try to go quick for the guys from 50 to 20, but obviously talk about them a little bit, just give my opinion on who I think are the best players in this out of the park save. So let's jump into it. So at number, I want to preface it by saying it's a mixture of everything. So it's mainly how good they are right now. So I don't want to pick like a 21-year-old that hasn't really proven much over like a 35-year-old who's had 6 straight like MVP caliber seasons, because it's not like a fantasy draft looking in the future. Obviously, like it's a little bit of both. I actually lean a little towards the veterans. It's like a 1 year thing. Like if you're going into the playoffs tomorrow, like which of these guys do you think are ranked? But obviously, there's some minor factors that affect it. Other than that, like there is like just a lot of type of like if it's a real close tiebreaker, I will go with like the Hall of Famer who's produced over 8 years, and he might be having a bit of a down year now. And the rookie might have a little bit better stats this season. And obviously, a lot of people are like, oh, I'll go with the younger guy. So I will go with like a veteran, like Hall of Famer, if he's having just a bit of a down year. But if it's like obviously he's fallen off or whatever. But I do tend to do some minor tiebreakers. For the most part, it's who's the best right now. So number 50, here's an example of that. So I had to put him on the list, even though he's having a really bad year this year. He's only had 5 games, and he's a pitcher, so it doesn't really matter. He has essentially been the best pitcher in the league for multiple years in a row now. He is a borderline Hall of Famer. Look at all that red ink. He's led the league in WAR multiple times. Been an absolute machine. So I'm not going to hold just these 5 starts against him, but I don't think he will really be on this list probably much longer. So I did want to throw him on as kind of, you're still that dude. Like last year, you had a 2.61 ERA, so I wasn't going to leave him off the list because of a couple starts, but. That is a guy who is a legend in this save. Next up is Juan Mazza, as you can see on that list. Juan Mazza is another guy I didn't want to leave off the list after the magical season he had last year as a rookie, just because he's having a bit of a down year this year, because I still think he is an elite guy moving forward, but really close to leaving him off. But again, just like I said, how dominant he was at the start of his career, I just wanted to leave him on here because I think he is a top 50 player. Like in this league. He strikes out almost 30% of guys, even on a down year. He's just having some bad home run luck with the home runs jump from 9 to 24. But I'd imagine that will normalize, and he'll be back in the top 30 of this list in the next few seasons. Next up, we have Joe Clark. Joe Clark is a guy I almost left off the list, and he was one of the last additions. I couldn't really leave him off because he just is such a wild strikeout artist. And I don't think his movement's quite there yet, where he's letting up a average amount of home runs. But obviously, you can see with those potentials if he gets that HRA. So far off that. But even right now, what really just jumped off the page at me was the whip. A 0.92 whip and 130 innings, pretty decent. And he did have 40 dominant innings as a rookie. So I think I call him a rookie at the start of this. I guess he's not, but you know what I mean. So I was close to leaving him off, letting him prove it for one more year, but I thought that was stupid. You look at him; he has a sub-3 and a sub-2 FIP the first 2 seasons of his career. Only let up 1 home run in 40 innings last year. This guy has just had to be on the list, even though he's young. This is a guy I'd imagine will have some years in the top 10 if he comes anywhere close to that potential. So he was on second thought that just that had to be on the list. This is a guy I almost missed too. I was considering leaving him off, but because of the small sample size and there were some veterans I wanted to put on. But again, I didn't want to be biased against the young guys, even though I tend to lean the veterans sometimes when it's close. This guy had 400 at-bats of dominant baseball last year, 400 on base percentage, 3 WAR, and half season, 150 WRC plus, split in between first and second. This season, he's done almost the same thing, 405 on base percentage, showing some power. Still not even close to his power potential like Joe Clark. So just like the guy I just talked about there, I think both of these guys have a chance to be in the top 5 in the next couple of years if they get to their potentials. I think they have that high a ceiling. So I thought he earned a spot. When a guy has a 400 on base percentage, you can play a solid second base. Most kind of like a first baseman, but we'll see. I think his bat is so elite, he could survive playing. Sorry, I have the OSA rating. I was going to say I thought he's even better defensively. That my scout likes me more. So I think he's a guy that can survive at second base pretty well, even though he's going to be a subpar defender there. The bat's so elite. I think he can give you some Mickey Romero type stats, who we'll talk about a bit here, who's been a borderline MVP. So I thought he deserved a spot too. This guy is let's see. This is a guy I almost had a lot higher. He's actually having one of the best seasons in the league, and in hindsight, I probably could have him a few spots higher. That's some really dominant WAR numbers. WAR the like isn't the end all be all, but it is probably like the best stat overall for attending. It's just he is a guy that doesn't have a ton of power, and he gets a lot of those WAR guys that play the middle of the field that have a pretty good bat. He is a sublime contact hitter there, hitting over 300 every year. I probably should have him in the top 30 or something, but stylistically, he just wasn't as sexy as some of the other guys when it came to the power and the walk percentage and stuff. It just makes a ton of contact, though. A real good contact hitter, real good base runner, real good defender. And it's just hard to have the non elite bats super high over some of those other guys, but really, really good baseball player. All right, so we'll move on here. Chris Bader. Cubs guy will be happy here. Bader was a guy who was really fringy on this list. I almost had him off, and I put him on, and I almost took him off again. I was really back and forth. He was definitely in the 45 to 55 range type thing. But back-to-back seasons of incredible, like led the league in triples last year, barely gets caught on the base pass, could even probably steal even more if he was a little healthier and played a few more at-bats this season. He is hitting almost 300 this year, has a bit of power, is a good enough defense to play center field, has an elite center fielder there in Chicago, so he plays left field, but everything kind of, all the boxes check on him. The gap power is so nasty with those triples and doubles, and just a really good baseball player. Can play all three outfield spots. Back-to-back 5 WAR seasons is fantastic. So, guy that switch hitter, kind of just good at everything. Really good baseball player. Next up, who we just talked about, Mickey Romero. This is the guy who was saying, I think there's a chance that that Foy guy, can't spell apparently. Mikey, okay, so not Mickey. I always call him Mickey. This guy I was thinking like Foy would turn into a guy that's like a little subpar defender at second base, but probably more of a first baseman. But this guy is stuck at second base his whole career because the bat's so good. Just amazing bat, like hitting 320 this year, back-to-back 30 home run seasons. Before this, almost on pace for 30 again this year. Is on pace for 30 again this year. Steals just enough bases, make impact there. Monster WRC plus numbers, and just good at everything. Like the last Bader we just talked about at a premium position. So really, really good lefty bat. Just an elite player. Carly again probably could be a few spots higher now that I'm kind of reviewing this a little more. Gosh, I can't spell. Poplar. No O in the middle. Poplar is a guy who is on Toronto and has been a real stalwart there for a long time and just kind of gotten better as his career's gone on. Had a really good season at 3.2 ERA a couple years ago. Just is amazing keeping the home runs down. So the strikeout numbers and the walk numbers are just a little better than average in both categories, but and a good defense behind him helps. But yeah, the guy's just hitting in the low 200s and just don't hit home runs against them, and never really lets up 20 home runs in a season. It's just fantastic. And since he was younger, I guess, like I said, he got better with age. So just in the prime of his career right now, and one of the most steady, reliable pitchers in the entire league. Guy you just know is going to give you that 170, 180 innings of like mid to low 3 ERA, and it's just peaking this season with a 2.9 ERA. So just a really, really, really solid pitcher. All right, next up, Bess. Bess was really hard to rank. Normally, you just don't want to have a relief pitcher above all these impact bats and aces, but he is just kind of like a historic level pitcher where I think if he was real with the stats he's putting up and the numbers he's doing, they would say he might even be the best relief pitcher of all time. Like they'd say, like obviously it's hard to compare statistics with eras. Like Rivera doesn't have the strikeout numbers. This guy is striking out like 40% of batters when the league average is like 20 or 18. The hits, everything is just jumps off the page completely. Guys are hitting 140 off him. It's just laughable. So I couldn't really put a relief pitcher any higher than this, or else he would be. It's just the end of the day, they can only make so much of an impact. As good as he is, it's hard to put him over a guy that's going to log you 200 innings, or position players going to have 700 bats. So that's about as high as you could possibly be, I think, for a reliever. Although you could probably make an argument, like where do I have him at 42? You probably could have him in the mid 30s. It's tough, but as you'll see, some of these guys above him are just getting so good. Eric Rogers is amazing. He is a lefty that is young, and he's only had the one really good season. Again, this is another guy I expect to be a little higher in this list in the next few years. He is just putting up crazy numbers. He has a 2.8 FIP this year, which makes him one of the best pitchers in baseball. Striking out 32% of batters. He's on pace for 6 WAR. So turning into a franchise like player is performed like one of the last like 400 innings So it's really turned into an ace. One of the best, most valuable players in the league. He's 6'7" lefty, so you get some Chris Sale vibes there. Look at all the blue pitches. There's a guy that's just going to anchor your rotation for years and years and years. So turning into a guy that's just amazing. Probably going to be a lot higher in this list in the next version. Next up, we have Bogdan. Bogdan was a guy that was quite a bit higher last year when I did this. He's having a bit of a down year this year. The last year wasn't great with the injury in the playoffs, even when they won the World Series. Probably would have been top 10 in the list these 2 years. So again, I didn't want to put him too low though, because I think he is probably closer to a top 25 player than he is 50 player. So he's kind of right now with the down years. I bumped him down a little bit, but a premier shortstop, ratings wise, he probably is the top. If I like again, if it was a real fantasy draft, he'd go really high at only 26 years old, and one of the premium positions, hits 20 home runs at shortstop yearly, pretty much. So elite player. Next up, we have his teammate Francis Blanco. Blanco is another one of those high movement pitchers that it's crazy because my stuff is so low on him for his age. That's the new part out of the Part 26 I really like. It's accurate though. Like he only did strike out league average 20% last year, which 50 is league average, so it makes sense. So I don't think he'll ever really get to that potential. He's not there at this age, but it's interesting that's still there. I think some guys do kind of peak late. Really dominant though. Like it led the league in ERA 2 years ago. Had a mediocre year last year for his talent level, and then right back to an MVP, Cy Young Award pace here with 5.3 RWAR already in August. Guy that has a 2.24 ERA this year, and he's only allowed 6 home runs, striking out 150 guys already. So just an amazing pitcher. San Diego has a few of these guys. It's just crazy how stacked they are. Makes sense why they're at the top of the league there. Next up, Joe Stamper. Stamper is almost the exact same pitcher as Blanco. And looking at the stats, I probably should have Blanco a spot higher because it kind of blows Stamper out of the water a little bit, where Blanco is quite a bit better. Also, he's on a better team and has a little better defense behind him, but it doesn't really matter, like semantics at this point. They're both really close. Joe Stamper is awesome too. Joe Stamper just doesn't let up home runs, and he strikes out a lot of guys and just plays fantastic year after year, and he's been a little more consistent over the years. But yeah, he's really good too. So yeah, I would actually switch those two guys though for sure. Probably bump Blanco up even higher, actually, maybe 4 or 5 spots looking at these guys. But again, it's close enough. This list is just a fun list. All right, Ben Watt. Ben Watt is exactly in the same mold as those guys. So just he's a little older. The team is elite and plays awesome defense behind him. And same thing, just doesn't let up a ton of home runs, strikes out a bunch of guys, has some pretty good control, just putting up crazy consistent numbers, almost identical seasons 2 years before this, 3 ERA, 3.5 ERA, 200 innings each year, on pace for almost exactly that again this year, stays healthy, and it just doesn't have that jump off the page stuff that some of these other guys do with the ratings, but the lefty that's just good at everything, it's just consistency is the name of the game with him. Sometimes that's more important. All right, Jackson Churio, the real-life superstar young player in this game still as a veteran. He is having a monster season this year. He's hitting almost 300. He's on pace for almost 70 stolen bases, one of the elite base runners in this league. Has a bunch of power. Hit 30 home runs last year, 25 the year before, on pace for 25 again this season. Amazing. Playing left field this year where he's a little better. He was at center field the last couple of seasons where he's getting kind of his ass chewed out a little bit. With some positional need there. I guess they need him in center, but he's actually a lot better at left field where he's performing this season, which makes sense why his production is quite a bit higher. So one of the best players in the league with the hit stick and all-around player, 5-tool guy. Next up, we have the Yankee stud pitcher. Yankees are just loaded with pitchers. It's crazy. Actually, by ratings, he might be their 3rd best guy, but playing really well this year. Back-to-back seasons, almost 200 innings, strikes out a ton of guys. The whip led the league a couple years ago, consistently, almost the exact same player each of the last 3 seasons. It's super expensive. Guy that came over from Taiwan, a generator player in the game, and he's just lived up to that lofty contract there. Might even opt out of that, probably not, but an amazing talent that just putting up some monster seasons here. O'Neal Cruz. All right, O'Neal Cruz is a guy that just got traded, and he is absolutely killing it in Tampa Bay since the trade. He's got 6 home runs in only 22 games, playing 150 WRC plus pace, on pace for 4 WAR. Had a couple really consistent years and just was an elite player in his late 20s and early 20s, and now he's just not quite that insane MVP talent he was early in his career, but he's really close and probably the first or second best third baseman in the league. So he's pretty high in this list because he's a really good defender, good base runner, hits for power, walks, hits for solid contact, just really checks every box. Really good player. That's why I had him so high on that trade deadline list. Um, I probably actually kind of disrespect him a little bit by having this rookie over him, but I couldn't look past the fact that this guy is on pace for almost 50 home runs. So I had to bump him up pretty high, but I probably would actually flip those two guys, like I said earlier. Epping is just a monster power hitter. He's a switch hitter, 6'4", 22 years old, and on pace for 48 home runs. So 35 home runs already. Was in a historic Rookie of the Year race last year with like 4 ridiculous rookies. So I don't even know if he finished in the top 5. He had 27 home runs, rookie, and a 150 WRC plus, and he's on pace for even more home runs this season. So actually hitting really well for average too, so not just a one-trick pony. So just a really good, solid left fielder there in defense. So just with all that power, he's going to be a valuable player. Speaking of all that power, next up we have Dean Moss. I had no idea how to rank this guy. Like, this guy had such a down year last year that he got demoted to AAA for most of the season. But then he bounces back and he's on pace for 55 home runs. So you just can't really put a guy that has that much power any lower than this when he's in the middle of his prime. And you're on a list where you're kind of essentially saying who's the best players right now. So it was just, 167 WRC plus. Like, I mean, you can't really have him lower than that with how good he's been this season because he's one of the MVP favorites. So having him here at 32, right, it makes sense. Just a ridiculous, ridiculous season. Diego Benitez is coming up next. This is a middle infielder from Colorado that puts up laughably impressive power numbers. Not much of a contact hitter in most stadiums. He'd probably be hitting 220, 230. But when you play the middle infield and you have that much power and you walk that much, so your on base percentage is 370 and you play good enough defense to be a really high level second baseman, can survive at shortstop, which he's actually been playing this season, at a 43 home run pace. It makes sense why you're a top 35 player in the league, top 30, 31 there. Next up, we have Eliza Dono. This is one of the only catchers on this. I can't spell. Elizo. This is one of the only catchers on this list. He just reminds me so much of their catcher right now at the moment, which is really neat. It's just cool how they kind of this franchise stalwart. Totally different type of player though, where this guy has that incredible avoid K, where obviously in real life it's the opposite. But he, so Eliza Dono here is just an awesome contact guy that has enough power to hit to 21 home runs in the catcher position last year in a team that's a back-to-back playoff team in the middle of his prime here at 27 years old. Nice cheap value, really good defender too. So just kind of like a leader of that team, one of the best players in the division. And like when you have a catcher that can hit you 30 doubles, 20 home runs, play really high level defense and hit almost 300, really high level player there. Catcher production is just so rare, which it makes sense why he's over some of these players that have much better stats below him here, from like 30 to 50, but just at positions where it's more common, left field and third base and stuff. So that's why this guy gets a little bit of a bump up. Noelvi Marte is actually the highest third baseman. No, is he? Yeah, he might be the highest third baseman in this list, number 1 or 2. O'Neill Cruz and him were pretty close. Marte is just so ridiculous because he has just done it for so long. He is such a good defender there as a plus defender, even at 32 years old. He's hitting about 300 and the worst offensive stadium production-wise in baseball. 370 on base percentage. On pace for almost 40 doubles. And back-to-back 20 home run seasons, pace again for this year pretty much. And steals enough bases to make an impact and just good at everything. That's what we talked about with quite a few guys in this list. When you're top 50 players in baseball, you're just kind of good at everything across the board. So this is a guy that's been on a team that makes playoffs every year. He's got a bunch of hardware here, made like 7 All-Star games. Just amazing, amazing player. Next up, we have Case Williams. Case Williams is very elite. I think I had him in the top 10 players in the league last year. He's having just a bit of a down year compared to last year, so I just bumped him down a little bit. As he's getting older, it could be the sign of some slow reduction, but probably not. Probably could have him a few spots higher. There's just so many good players, it's hard, but still having a really good season, just letting up quite a bit more home runs than he did last year. Last year, he just had a ridiculous season where he only allowed 9 home runs. He's already allowed 23 this year, so that was just the difference in the drop, but still a top 30 player, an amazing, amazing talent. that is leading the way in a really, really good Tampa Bay team that I think at one point they shut me out like almost 3 games in a row or something. With I had to face their big three pitchers who were just awful. So got a taste of the medicine of how good he is there. Just elite control, really good movement. Most seasons you're not seeing it this year quite as much, which is why the numbers aren't as spectacular. And the strikeout numbers are still above average, so probably closer to 55 than a 50. But one of the better pitchers in the league for sure. Next up, we have Vladdy Guerrero. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. is a Hall of Famer. He has 580 career home runs. He hits 285 in his career. All that red ink, led the league at slugging a bunch of times and home runs a bunch of times. He is at a 40 home run pace yet again. Steals some bases to add some value. Plays really good defense there. Just, I mean, look at all that. Look at all those accolades. Just an amazing, amazing veteran. That's one of the best players and one of the best teams in baseball there. Toronto had a spectacular career there, so couldn't leave him off the list. All right, so next up, we're going to roll into the top 25. Sorry, this video is going a little long, but I'm having a lot of fun here, so you can always skip forward if you want. Next up, we have Mackay Harrison. Mackay is a dude that's only in his second season, but he is absolutely tremendous. He is turned into one of the stars of this league. Last year, he had one of the best rookie seasons of all time at 6.4 WAR, 153 WRC plus, 40 doubles, 20 home runs, 10 steals, hit 320. This year, he's hitting 300. He's not quite as on pace for the gaudy numbers he was last year, but the defense is really solid. The base rank's solid. He's turned into a captain, young player for a team. Type of guy that would go top 5 in a dynasty draft with his age and his production, his position, and his mentals. One of the elite core building blocks of the entire league. So a bit of a down year this year compared to last year, which is why I bumped him down a few spots, but I'd imagine he's going to be in the top 20 in this next few lists if I do it yearly. And I couldn't leave the absolute amazing, oh my God, I can't spell, Olivo. I couldn't leave his arch enemy off this list more than a few spots away from him, so I put him back to back. This is his guy who I remember, if you guys watch any of those videos from last year, these guys had some ridiculous, intense battles last year of how their production was so close. I made a whole video on it and talked about the Rookie of the Year races. Almost the same player, so I won't even have to talk about him for long. Not quite as much power, but a little better defense. And production-wise, same thing, almost hitting 300, on pace for almost 40 doubles. So the production has been a touch better out of him this year than Harrison, but both just amazing and almost identical talents. Harrison probably a little sexier with the better mentals, but the elite defense where Harrison's a little more of an average defender, shortstop, was just enough where I gave Olivo just like a hair of a tiebreaker, but honestly almost the exact same spot. Finister is a dude that finished like top 5 in the MVP last season. He's having a bit of a down year compared to last year. He's only hitting 240 this year, but he hit 300 last year, led the league in a ton of categories. Still, even with a down year, he's on pace for almost 30 home runs. A really good production season. An elite talent that is just incredible across the board. Only 27 years old, has as much blue in his profile as anyone there on the batting side of things. Just a ridiculous, ridiculous bat, and totally expect him to bounce back and hit 300 with 47 home runs and be number 6 on this list next year. Austin Nye. Austin Nye's another guy who's having a bit of a down year this year, but exactly the same as Finster, where, I mean, look at the season, the last 2 seasons. He had 2.84 ERA last year, 240 innings, and the whip is just as good this year. The home runs are just a little bit up this year. That's the only difference, and he's walking a few more guys, but a crazy, crazy talent that struck out 258 batters last season. Even in a down year, he's going to strike out more than 200, have a 3.7 ERA. Guys aren't even hitting 200 off him. So just one of those dudes that every single team needs as a franchise ace talent there from a pitcher with absolute fireballer with the crazy stuff and movement and just all those amazing pitches. So one of my favorite pitchers in the league. And his teammate is one spot higher. This is a really good team, this freaking Tampa team. Holy smokes. Got a lot of good players. Marcelo Meyer here in real life. Obviously, everyone knows him. A lefty bat, shortstop, hitting 260. On pace for almost 40 doubles in a really bad offensive stadium. He has a bit of power, steals a bunch of bases, which really helps his value, especially for an old guy, a 6'3" shortstop. Plays really, really good defense. He's having a 7, probably even better production than I'd expect from that defensive ratings. Just 7.5 zone range shortstop is amazing. So yeah, just a really elite talent. That's just the prototype there, the Corey Seager type shortstop profile. And just everybody wants the big, strong shortstop, 6'3", amazing. It makes sense why he's so highly rated in real life too. That's the kind of potential. I don't think he'll ever get that good in real life, but we'll see. David Bonilla. So I thought I mentioned earlier Marte might have been the first third baseman. I forgot I had Bonilla one spot. So there's Cruz and then Marte and then actually Bonilla number one. Bonilla is a freaky talent. He is a 6'4" third baseman that is hitting 300 since the trade this year to San Diego. Plop him on a really good team. He's just absolutely destroying. 6 home runs in 15 games since that trade. Number one ranked on my trade deadline list. An elite talent who I think is the best third baseman in the league. He 6 WAR, 4.5 WAR, and now he's I'm only on pace for 2 this year, but he has a slow start and just killing it since the trade. So a dude in the end of his prime here at 32 years old on first place team, so has a chance to win a title. Just a good match there. So again, talking about current value, best of his position in the league, and amazing first base defense too. You could always throw him in there in late in games. Just a little bit of an average defender at third base, but really monstrous bat. Next up, we have a rookie. This was a little controversial in my opinion, but I could not look past the fact that this guy's 42 home runs in his first 110 games, playing a premium defensive position. He is a top-notch base stealer. Should probably have a lot more stolen base, but he hits so many damn home runs. He's not on first base a lot to steal. Like, he stole 64 bases last year in AAA. Probably should be a 50 stolen base talent, just for whatever reason, only on pace 22 for some of the reasons, where he's hitting in the lineup, I guess. But you put him at leadoff and take away some of his power, and he probably steals 60 bases. Just shows the talent this guy has. An absolute freak. I'd imagine he'll have an MVP or two before his career's over. 22 years old. Big time on base percentage with the eye. Crazy gap power. And again, hitting so many home runs almost takes away from the stealing bases and the gap power, where you'd probably have like 40 doubles if you just didn't hit 60 balls out of the park every season. Strikes out a little bit. Obviously, that's his weakness, but it makes sense when he has that much power, swinging the bat that hard. Striking out 34% of the time and still putting up silver slugger type numbers. So if he ever improves out of OK, we'll see. The potential isn't any higher, but I've seen that rating go up more than the other ones in the middle of their career. So we'll see if he gets better, though. He's like almost a lock for MVP right now. He's just kind of in that next tier where strikes out so much. I don't know if he'll ever quite get there. I mean, he's still pretty far away from his power potential, which is scary. If my scout's right, it really could be like a 65 home run guy one year, because the righty bat in Philly, that's the best matchup in the league. Power plays up 27% for righty hitters in Philly, hitting home runs to left field there. So it wouldn't shock me if he breaks the 60 home run barrier mark a couple times in his career, maybe even puts up 70, something gaudy if he can get to 75 power. So just righty bat, young star, and that's just crazy. Absolute freak. So I just had to have him in the top 20. Just that year he's having, just you can't leave a 60 home run guy out of the top 20. And he'll probably be even higher. Next up, we have one of the coolest players in the league. This is a true Ohtani level player, ironically on the Angels too, like Ohtani was. He has 23 starts this season, and he's pitching his ass off there, 3.64 ERA as a two-way star. And last season didn't pitch so well, but it hit even better last season. Last year he hit 300 with 27 home runs. High-level defense in center field, had 5.2 WAR just as a position player. This year it's a little more balanced. He's not hitting quite as good, but still a center fielder, hits 250 with a 25 home run pace and 114 WRC plus in center field and putting up monster pitching numbers. So probably I argued with myself about putting this guy in the top 10 because he is a top 10 talent with the only like true two-way guy in this league. It's just he was having a little bit of a down year with the bat, so I bumped him down a little bit, which now that I'm thinking about it yet again, I'm a little mad. 18 is still really high, but I think I probably should have had him 8 to 12 because I think the two-way thing is so rare. It just makes him such an elite player and so valuable. Looking at these names, yeah, I think I'd actually move him up. So just let's pretend he's at like number 9 or 10. Tommy, this guy's having a really cool season. Tommy here is, I think he's a leader in WAR, maybe first or second place. He's hitting 307 with 3D on base percentage. He's has 27 home runs and 34 stolen bases. So he's going to put up, for almost positively, unless he gets injured here, he's going to put up a 30-30 season, which is so rare, so amazing. 145 WRC plus, sitting pretty clutch too. Just smoking the ball and a really good defender. He was playing center field where he was pretty bad last year, but then he bounced back this season and he's back in his more comfortable right field position where he's put in a positive WAR, which made his positive zone range, which made his WAR just jump up like crazy. Amazing season, number 17 in this list. Probably been a top 5, top 10 player in baseball this season, so it could be even a little bit higher. But he just probably, if he proves it one more year and has like back to back like amazing years, I think I'll bump him up even more. But not like they're low there at 17. Once you get to these players, you're in like the elite players of the league. Next up, we have Mika Matthews here, MM. He is another guy that's just exploded since an earlier season trade. He was doing pretty well already in Cincinnati, actually really well, and then he got traded and he's doing even better, which is crazy. His WRC plus is 161 with the Angels, so he's on pace for 5.7 WAR, 26 home runs, 27 stolen bases. 2020 season, probably talent-wise could be doing even better. Defensively, might be just not performing so well defensively in LA, which is why the WAR number's a little low. Yeah, so for whatever reason, defensively the zone range hasn't been quite as high, but just having just an uber talented guy that's just amazing at everything. Probably should have Kuklik one spot above, so let's pretend we'll bump him down a few spots and move the last two guys up, Kuklik and Ideen and Litzinger probably. Taylor Dollard. Taylor Dollard is an uber ace. I've had that term once or twice during this list. This guy just personifies pitching right here. Look at all these good seasons. 200 innings, 220 innings, one injury season, 220, 220. A guy that just pumps out innings and had a little bit of injury trouble this year, which is why he's not like in the top 5 like he probably would have been each of the last couple of seasons. But he is still a premier pitcher in this league. Striking out 26% of guys, only walking 5% of guys. Crazy, crazy ratios. Every single season, he's just in the 3s for FIP and ERA and model of consistency. A really talented pitcher that might only be on this list maybe one more time at 35 years old. So I put him pretty high. I think he was in the top 5 last year with how good of a season he had. All right, next up we have Alexis Lomba. This guy is a major bat. This is another Tampa Bay Ray, by the way. This team is just loaded. 407 on base percentage. He is back-to-back 40 home run seasons, 3 in a row actually, 48 that rookie year, which is crazy. And just an amazing talent. 6 WAR a year after year after year. Not quite as insane this season as the last few years, so he's not in the top 10, but he's really damn close. He's at 14 there, but one of the best bats in the league. J.D. Strickland, this is a catcher who is really high on this list, like I mentioned, the other catcher from KC, because of positional value. When you have a catcher, OSA, by the way, has this guy like number 2 in the entire league. If you look at their top 20. He hits 313 at catcher with 27 home run pace. One second. I'm going to pause this. I'm back. I had to pause it there for a second. Yeah, so the positional value, man, holy smokes. Best mentals in the game. A catcher that's going to hit 315 with almost 30 home runs back-to-back seasons. Plays really good defense. Such a unicorn. There's just no, like every single team has a catcher that hits like 190. So when you have a catcher that's just that much better than everyone, makes up so much. So just so valuable because of the positional versatility there. All right. Prescott, more like Prescott, am I right? This guy is, not this guy. Holy smokes. Prescott. Oh, forgot to see. Yeah, can't really spell this guy's name. Very confusing, but I'm sure I will learn soon with seeing his name pop up so much. This is such a neat player. 6'9" lefty. Randy Johnson vibes with an 80 slider. So, yeah, that's the reincarnation of Randy. Just not the same skin color, but also Randy could not throw anywhere that near that good of a changeup. This guy striking at 27% of guys. He's on pace for 220 strikeouts. Guys are hitting 220 off him. Surprised. Oh, man, that got to be a nightmare in real life to pitch against. Imagine that good of a changeup at that size he has. Holy fuck. That's just such a neat profile. And he's only 23 years old, and he's already been this good back-to-back years. 3.2 ERAs and FIPS back-to-back years. Mid-3 ERAs. Doesn't really let up home runs. Better than average league control. So that's probably closer to a 55. Striking out a shitload of guys. Not even at his potentials yet. Sinker has so much work to do. if could even get better than this. So this guy might turn into the best pitcher in the league. There's a lot of good young pitchers we talked about on this list, but yeah, holy smokes, this guy's special. Top 10 player. Oh, sorry, no, he's number 12. I lied, but very close. All right, Carlos Colmenero. This is another guy that is a lot like Marte's profile, his teammate. Marte at third base, this guy at second base. Probably could be a shortstop in a lot of teams. They have an elite defensive shortstop, so he gets bumped to the middle of the field where he's just amazing. Having a down year this season, which is why I couldn't put him in the top 10, but he is clearly the best player at his position, literally almost a decade straight at second base there. 5 WAR, 6 WAR, 4-4, 3, 7, 6. So I mean, it's just been at the top of the totem pole at second base there. Lefty hitting second baseman with elite defense, elite base running, and awesome on base percentage at that position most seasons. Again, down year this year, which is why he got knocked out of the top 10. When I was starting to make this list, I was ready to put him in the top 6 or 8 based on his talent level, but then I noticed he was only hitting 209 this year, so I had to bump him down a bit. Probably could bump him down a bit, but out of respect for how good he is every single season, I just left him at number 11. Amazing talent. 33 home runs last season with that defense, 37 stolen bases, had 350 on base percent. Just freakishly good player and almost no weakness in his game. There is pretty much no weakness other than maybe he's fragile now, but he's also 30, so it makes sense. Freak. Michael Torres. Michael Torres is he's awesome, man. He's just pure hit tool. Pure old fashioned, doesn't strike out, just gets no bat on the ball, a Tony Gwynn type hitter, but has a bunch of power too. Really awesome base running too for a guy with that much bat. 75 stealing ability, stole 27 bases last year. He's on pace for almost 30 this season. Doesn't really get caught much. Freaking awesome player. Really good defender there in left field, 65 defender. Plays a really plus defense there. Positive zone range when you got 75 hit tool is freaking fantastic. Has a bunch of gap power there, just crazy doubles numbers year after year after year. Almost 50 doubles some of those seasons. Almost 35, 40 every single season, if not more. So a lefty bat to boot, which is even rare. Just on a long-term deal. At only 28 years old, just smack dab in the middle of his prime there. Just having a crazy career, and he's definitely going to be a guy that will be on the Hall of Fame pace if he keeps it up. Couple seasons, like he hit 390 and 350. Like, who are we kidding here? This guy's just amazing. So he's our right in the smack dab in the top 10 there. So number 9, and then number 8 we got Vaquero. Kind of spoiled a few of these picks by showing you guys. I'll try to not do that for the top 5. So Christian Vaquero is crazy, man. This guy is 7.4 WAR season a few years ago. Hit 290, 50 home runs, 46 home runs. Look at these home run numbers. So this is a center fielder that steals some bases, puts up crazy home run numbers, and plays top-notch defense. Has a bunch of accolades there. Again, right in the middle of his prime there. Switch hitting, 29-year-old center fielder. 6'3" with that kind of... I mean, who jumps to mind when I talk about this? This is Ken Griffey Jr. shit right here. I mean, this guy is spectacular. He's Cuban, too, which is cool. Just... What an exciting player there. That's just so awesome. And... spoiler alert, he's not even the highest guy on his own team. That's just crazy. So, next up we have Edwin Arroyo. Edwin is the premier defender in baseball. This is one of the craziest defensive seasons I've ever seen last year. He put up like 25 zone range. This year he has 12 zone range, only 8 errors, and almost 1,000 innings at shortstop. It's crazy. He had 30 steals each of the last 2 seasons. He's hitting 250. So I couldn't really put him any higher than like 8 on this list he's 7. Just because the bat wasn't quite elite enough with how elite those top 5 guys were. But I actually, like, even having him above Torres and the Washington guy just shows how highly I think of him. Just the fact that he's a switch-hitting shortstop with a pretty good bat, but the defense is just so crazy. I mean, talking this out, it's a little tricky having him higher than those 2 guys. I maybe should bump him down. Vaquero probably should be a bump. Vaquero's just so ridiculous. I just realized I missed someone. Holy smokes. I wasn't paying attention. So actually, in between those last few picks, I meant to talk about Cardoza, who I had at 10. So Cardoza is almost the exact same player as Vaquero, but just a little different. Not quite as good at defense, but also has that just crazy power, a bunch of base stealing ability, and just I mean, last year the season he had was just spectacular. Almost a 200 WRC plus. He hit 340 last season, so he's down to 250 this season, which is why I didn't have him like in the top 6 or 7. If it was last year, he probably would have been like 2 or 3 on this list with just the ridiculous season he had. 32 home runs year before that, and then 43 last year. And yeah, this year he's on pace for 47 home runs. So, I mean, all these guys, it doesn't really matter too much the positioning of these guys because they're all just so elite. You could argue like every one of them could be like 1 or 2 spots higher than the other, but it makes sense. So it's just you're in a really top tier when you get up here. Number 6, we have Winokur. Winokur is amazing. I almost had him number 1, but you'll see in a second here, like this top 6 was just so good that it's not really bad to have him a little bit, a few spots lower. He gets a little bit of Coors effect in his stats, which I mean in real life that'd be a big argument to see like how good he really is. He obviously gets quite a bit of help with the contact though. Like hitting 345 and 315, where in my scout thinks he's more like a 55 hitter. So obviously there's some Coors effect there. Really solid defender, really solid base runner, amazing all around player. 6'5" with crazy eye, crazy power. I mean, he walks 15% of the time. League average is 8, so doubling that up is just scary good. So you're talking about MVP talents up here. So number 6 in the entire league. And again, could be maybe even as far as you hire, but all these guys above him are freakishly good too. So next up we have, you'll see here, San Diego, don't be mad because he's a lot higher than your guy here, Meza. But Clint, oh my God, how good is he? It's too bad he's injured. Might even miss some of the playoffs there, but I can't really think about the math right now on that, but should be really close to the start of the playoffs there in 9 weeks. Yeah, he is one of the best second-year pitchers you've ever seen in baseball. It's 80 stuff. Striking out 30% of batters back-to-back years. 225 strikeouts as a rookie, one of the best rookie seasons of all time. 8.6 RWAR. 2.72 FIP last year, 2.4 this year, been even better with the FIP. The ERA hasn't been quite as good, just a little bit less luck on defense, but all the numbers are almost identical. 0.5 home runs per 9, walking 5% of guys back-to-back years. So the hits are about the same. It's just everything he does is like lead the league in WHIP playing in quarters half of your games is just silly. This season 2.4 FIP, so I mean, holy smokes, 23 years old to be a top 5 player in baseball is so special. Number 4, Michaud. Omari, yet another Tampa Bay Ray. Holy shit, how many did they got on this list now? Like 6? But I mean, whoo, this guy's good. 8.7 WAR with a 400 on base percentage, 38 home runs, and 0 caught stealing, 15 steals to boot. Just an amazing avoid K guy, doesn't strike out much at all. 15, 18, 22 the last couple seasons, walking 18% of the time. That's about what Juan Soto gets in real life to show how special that eye is. So you got a guy with that good of defense, that good of base running, a bunch of power, hit 30 home runs, Juan Soto level eye. Really just like a Juan Soto level production with the crazy on base percentage there, but a lot better defense. Not quite, obviously, the Juan Soto bat that Juan Soto has in real life, not quite as much juice, but really close. I mean, checks every single box by a mile, almost like a 6-tool player. One of my favorite guys, one of the best all-around players you can really imagine. I mean, if you're drafting a guy, that's the profile you want. You want a guy that can run the bases, play defense, has a good arm. Just really, 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 really special. Next up, we have Josh. Just kidding. Hopefully my game didn't just freeze there. I got so excited. I was trying to type it fast. We have Tim Osgood. Tim Osgood. Ooh, he's good. He has some major talent here. So the guy hits almost 300 every single season. Career average 311 here. The double numbers. Are you kidding me? 64 last season with 7 triples. So look at these extra base hit numbers. 64 doubles, 7 triples, 34 runs. Like laughably special. Doesn't strike out a lot, under 20%, which is really special. Steals a few bases, but the defense at second base used to be more of like a shortstop defender playing second. A little bit older now, so I think the range fell just a touch. But I mean, look at these seasons: 6 WAR, 7 WAR, hitting 300 with that many doubles and that good of defense in the middle of the diamond. Like I almost had this guy number 1. I thought going into this I'd actually have number 1, but he's number 3. But I mean, the mentals, this guy is as good as it gets. It's amazing. All right, we're in our final top two. I wonder if you can guess who it is. T Chen at number two. T, too bad he's injured right now, but he'll be back in time for September there in the playoffs. He only hits about 250, which is the only sticking point why I couldn't put him number one. As good as he is with the power, and the stolen bases are awesome, and the defense is top notch, and the base running, it's just everything. Hit by pitch is even high. The guy is absolutely spectacular. 6'3", roams the middle of the friggin' diamond like Denzel Washington in real life, just an absolute ninja. And he hits the ball so hard. He just is a spectacular talent. So he's 29 years old in the elite, like making $50 million, and he's worth every penny. The Sheriff, what a cool nickname. So this is the best of the best here. So if you're wondering who's number one, I actually had to put above him. Might be a bit of a surprise to some people, but Mike Riley. Mike Riley, couple Cy Youngs to his name. He's a lefty, 26 years old. In my opinion, he's the best player in baseball, even above T, even though it's really close. He, look at his ERAs and FIPS. 2.9, 2.5, 2.6. He only allowed 0.3, 0.4 home runs per nine, almost strikes out 30% of batters, only walks 6% of guys, barely gets any base hits with an elite defense behind him. 8 R-WAR last season, 8 WAR. He's on pace for about the same this year. These numbers, he right about a 1.0 FIP every single season. The fact that he is just so dominantly consistent as a lefty on the best team in baseball at that age, I just could, and he makes 720K, which is hilarious. The production he's put up about what 15 WAR for like $2 million so far in his career. I just had to put him number one because he's on pace for 230 innings back-to-back seasons, probably a back-to-back Cy Youngs, and that'd be his third Cy Young, sorry. So third Cy Young in 3 years potentially. This would be if he was real at 5'10". I just can't imagine how much people would love that profile lefty 5'10" guy that puts up these numbers. Again, like just the short pitcher thing, obviously the Pedro comparisons, the fact that he's a lefty though on top of that, it's hard to even compare him to anyone historically. One of the craziest starts I've ever seen, and just real close between him and Chen and Osgood there, but for the reasons I just listed, I had to put him number one, and I think he's the best player in the league. So hope you enjoyed. I will post a picture of the list right here, and then probably post it later again on the site, just in case you want a little bit of a recap. That was a really long video, so I hope I didn't waste your time and you guys enjoyed this. If anyone watched to the end, toodles.